And there's the go live, so click that and then check audio. Live. There's audio and then check Safari. Safari's not quite up yet, but that should come soon. And at this point, it should be live right now. So here I'm going to get a conference. So click that and then mute that. Okay, so in this session, what I'm planning to do is do the BIOS upgrade on this custom built computer for the flight simulator for New Vision Aviation. My friend Joseph runs a program to prepare kids, students from disadvantaged neighborhoods, to prepare them for a potential career as a pilot and airline pilot or other forms of commercial pilot. So I've had a couple other videos about this computer. The computer's sitting over here. I haven't closed it up yet. I still have cable management to do, and I've connected an internal DVD drive in order to install Windows 10. Now this was a really interesting thing. Let me see if I can show you here. Is the prescribed components for this computer was listed including a Windows 10 DVD. And I thought, well, that seems odd. Why would anybody want to install from a DVD instead of just downloading Windows 10 from Microsoft and installing off of a USB flash drive? I actually have it on a USB flash drive, so I wouldn't even have to download. However, I never buy Windows 10 because I essentially sell HP and Dell computers, sometimes Lenovo computers that I get through Amazon, and that comes with Windows 10. So I rarely would have occasion to actually buy Windows 10. And I don't normally, let's see. You know what? I'm going to need to put you on mute for a moment and take this phone call. Okay, so sorry about that. We might get interrupted with somebody coming to my front door in about half an hour or more. So when I went to order this off of Amazon, I was surprised to find Windows 10 on DVD is less expensive than the download version. And then I got thinking about why would that be in simple supply and demand. I'm guessing that there are distributors out there that have a lot of these DVDs sitting around and nobody wants them anymore. They want to do the electronic download so they can install it right now. They don't want to order a DVD and wait for it to come. So the DVD was kind of significantly less expensive. I think it was like $15 less. So I thought, okay, I'll go ahead and do that and just see what the experience is like for installing from DVD. Another point about this is that it is Windows 10 Home for OEM software. So the specifications for this is it's supposed to be included with sold with a fully assembled computer, specifically for people who are building computers and then selling the finished product. And then another thing that I saw in this, I'm not sure if I'll tell you what, I'll change the focus on this camera because I typically have my webcam set to not do autofocus so they don't keep adjusting. But let's see if this gives you up there at the top, gently scratch to reveal product key. And then down in the yellow area, we see what looks like a product key with 5 sections of numbers and letters. That looks like a full valid product key. It used to be that product keys, it's like the scratchers cards. And it looks like they've stopped doing that, but yet this envelope still says gently scratch to reveal product key. So I'm not going to scratch. And I would think that if somebody were to try to scratch it, they might then not be able to read the product key. Okay, so now before installing Windows 10 on this computer, I'm going to do a BIOS upgrade. This is something else that I've never done before. This is a custom-built computer. I don't typically do that. I've watched Carrie Holzman do this a number of times, so I'm going into this with essentially feeling no fear. Although once I got to thinking about it, I thought, did I really pay attention during that time? I'm going to attempt to do this through the internet without having an operating system installed. I think that's a valid way to do it. So there's a little bit of a chance here that I might have to go to a plan B, but that's about the most significant form of adrenaline rush I get these days. Risky situation. Oh gee, I hear Alexa talking to me in the background. Now, okay, I won't mute the microphone. Some people think you have to go right up to the Echo device to talk to it, but I'm on the west side of the house. The Echo device is all the way on the east side of the house. I can talk to her from here. You might want to plug your ears for this, though. Alexa, stop! Yep, that worked. She heard me. The fun thing about that is I get to yell at her. She can't yell back at me. Okay, so let's go start this computer up, and then I'll switch to the screen that I've got this connected to. So power button over there, and then switch to the this screen, and here. I don't hear anything going on. Oh, all right. Would it be helpful to connect the power cable? Computers are supposed to be so smart, it should have known that I intended to have the power cable connected and just behave accordingly. All right, so then power button. And of course, you see all the RGB lights on it too once I plugged it in. So here we should get a logo screen for that. Oh, it went straight into the motherboard. That probably just means somewhere my connections weren't live for us to see the logo screen. So this computer has a NVMe M.2 mounted to the motherboard, but it's blank. It doesn't have an operating system installed yet. So this went straight into the UEFI BIOS utility. So down, let's see, where was that? Boot menu, search training wizard. I did see it the other day. I think it's going to be in advanced mode, it looks like. Clicking advanced mode. And then easy mode, easy tuning. Tweaker, choose that. I did see, I'm going to try this tool menu up here. Asus Easy Flash 3 Utility, Secure Erase, User Profile, SPD, Graphics Card, Armory Grade. So this looks like it. Easy Flash 3 Utility. Click on that. Please select the BIOS update method, either via storage device or over here, Internet. So I'm going to click on Internet. I have not yet connected the Ethernet cable, and I've not given any Wi-Fi credentials. Clicking Next. Updating the BIOS via Internet enables network-related items, then reboots the system automatically. Continue. I'm kind of wanting to not connect the Ethernet cable until it tells me to, and see if that is a thing. So it's restarting the computer now. There's the Republic of Gamers. Actually, you might have seen that at the beginning because I was looking at this monitor. So earlier in the video, that Republic of Gamers logo might have shown up. So now, okay, so see what's happened here is it's highlighting via storage devices. I'm deducing that's because it doesn't sense internet connection. So let's go take an internet cable. Okay, I see lights blinking on the Ethernet port. I'm going to give that a minute to negotiate with the internet. And then I'll try clicking this via internet again. And next. Okay, please select the internet connection type. I could do DHCP or fixed. I'll do DHCP. The dynamic host core protocol, do I remember that right? That's just where it picks up an IP address from the router. Latest BIOS file, showing me the name of that. It's a zip file. Do you want to download this file and update your BIOS? Now, I don't have any form of storage device accessible right now. The NVMe is not formatted, so it's not going to be able to store that there. I think this is going to be able to store this into a RAM drive and perform the update. But that's the piece I'm not sure about when the adrenaline rush part. Get a life. All right, I'm clicking OK. Progress. So it's downloading to somewhere. Do you really want to update BIOS? Download successfully, BIOS information, yada yada. Date is 5/27. That's interesting. They're showing a date without a year. Certainly it's not 5/27/21 because that hasn't occurred yet. So the assumption is 5/27/2020. The current BIOS up here in the upper right is August 5th, 2019. So then I'll click yes. On the bottom here we see processing, and we have a graph going across the screen. Oh, did I not? Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't punch my buttons right. Ah. Let's move this out of the way a bit. So one of my ideas for my channel down the road when it gets larger is I would hope to have some regular viewers that could help monitor this kind of thing, meaning normally my intention is to be in session by providing computer support to somebody through a Zoom session. Well, I'd like to have other regular viewers of my channel in the Zoom session as well, so they could speak up and say, hey Doug, push the button. Because I know I'm going to mess that up once in a while. There's a 5/27/2020 date showing. Let's see, I don't have any mouse responsiveness during this, but the right hand side of the screen shows that it's May 27th, 2020. So when this gets to the end, I would expect it's probably just going to go ahead and restart the computer and install the update during that restart. And I'm not totally certain what parts of this process my capture device is going to pick up, but it should be pretty thorough because it's actually picking up whatever display output is coming from the graphics card. So anything that would show up on a regular monitor should show up through the video. Of course, as long as I have the right buttons pressed. Oh well. That's working over there. Almost at the end of the graph. Update successfully. Well, a little grammar there. Update successful. Update successfully. Updated successfully would be okay. That's my OCD. I like computer people to be good with grammar, I guess. All right, here, please enter setup to recover BIOS utility. SATA mode changed. Avoid unknown issues. Press F1 to run setup. Well, there's no bootable device on it, so it might go ahead into setup automatically. It says, please enter setup to recover BIOS setting. After setting up Intel Optane memory or the RAID configuration was built. Well, that's a comma. After setting up Intel Optane memory or the RAID configuration was built, SATA mode selection must be changed to RAID mode to avoid unknown issues. I don't want to use RAID mode. SATA mode selection must be changed to RAID. Okay, well, I don't want SATA mode. I don't have any SATA devices connected anyway. Detected devices, a little bit higher on the screen. It shows my Samsung SSD 970 Evo Plus, 500 gigabytes. Oh, it does say M.2 at the beginning of that line. It doesn't specify NVMe. USB devices shows the keyboard and the mouse, shows my total memory, 16 gigabytes. It shows Intel i5 9400, 2.9 gigahertz. All right. Please enter setup. It says press F1 to run setup. So here's F1. Where should I move my picture-in-picture? Down here? Is there anything in here that I care about? Temperature's fine. Overclocking shows normal. I don't intend to do overclocking on this. I don't think they need it for the purpose. Shows a UEFI Ethernet connection, fine, for IP4 and IP6. Here shows the Samsung SSD, M.2 NVMe, specified there. AHCI SATA. Okay, that would be the DVD drive that I have connected. So I do have a SATA device connected. It's the DVD drive. XMP, seems to me that has to do with overclocking, but it looks like I cannot enable that anyway. I don't think I wanted to. So that all looks fine. I can save and exit, but before doing that, I'm going to put the DVD in. And since this DVD will be the only bootable device, the computer should automatically see that. So back here, wrong one, here. And down here it says save and exit F10. Just to see if I can, I'm going to try clicking on that. Yes, that does work. You've not made any changes to BIOS settings. Yeah, I'm fine with that. Click OK. I'm thinking I could have made the change in regards to the SATA mode, but since I don't have any SATA devices that are going to be in the computer long term, I don't care. Now I'm expecting a message for the DVD drive. I might have to press a key to get it to boot off of that. Press any key to boot from DVD. So there I hit the space bar. You may have noticed I'm looking over this way on occasion. That's because this monitor, when the computer reboots, this monitor switches to a second computer that I have attached to this monitor, so I can't see what's happening there. But when I look at my streaming software, I can see it. So I'm curious to see what the installation experience is like for Windows 10 off of a DVD. Is it slower? Is it faster? Is it different? Are there different choices? Now this DVD drive is not connected by USB. This is connected with a SATA cable direct to the motherboard. So it'd be operating as though it was an internal DVD drive. It is an internal DVD drive type, but it's kind of old. Just one I had laying around. I was looking for a more current model DVD drive that I have that would plug into a USB port, but I didn't find it. Okay, so here we go. English, US, clicking next. Install now. And now it's asking to activate Windows, so I could put in that product key, but I'm going to choose not to do that yet. I'll do that later. And the reason why I make that choice is the possibility if there's something that comes up that makes me want to reperform the install, I don't want to have to type that number over and over. So I'm just going to say I don't have a product key at this point. So this is interesting. It's giving us the options of Windows 10 Home, 3 different homes, 2 different educations, and 2 different pros. So the fact that this label says Windows 10 Home, that would indicate that it's just the product key that limits this to home, and that the DVD has all of the versions. Now it says here date modified 5/11/2020, so that makes me think that this is going to be 20H1. Did we call it 20H1 yet, or did that start with 20H2? 2003. Anyway, I'm thinking it's the first half of 2020 would be the version that is probably on this DVD. So what we want is Windows 10 Home, the first one on that list. That's what this key code is valid for. Click Next. So this implies that I could use this DVD to install any of those versions if I had a valid product code, or if I was installing on hardware that has already been registered with Microsoft as having a valid license. Click Accept License Terms and then Next. And I want to do a custom install. Upgrade's not going to work. If I click on Upgrade, it's going to tell me that I need to launch the installation from a running Windows 10 installation. So custom is what we're going to do. There's unallocated space. I don't need to make any special choices here. Just click Next. It's going to go ahead and use all of that unallocated space. So far this is looking identical to doing an installation off of a USB thumb drive. That's noisy. Well, that noise is coming from the DVD drive. So I'm going to be curious to see how noisy that is. And I'll go ahead and listen to it on my iMac over here. Oh yeah, you can hear that all right. I think I have my automatic noise canceling type things all disabled. I don't like to use those unless they're really needed. Audio sound system, microphone, go to here. Yeah, noises. Can I show you this? I think I can show you this. Yeah, right there. I think that's coming through. Noise suppression, noise gate, I don't have the check marks there. Equalizer, I don't have the check marks. Compressor, I don't have the check marks. Waiting to see if that's coming through. Yeah, there it is. Finally came through. So noise suppression, noise gate, parametric equalizer, compressor. None of those are active. So you're hearing whatever the real sound is in my lab here. Let's get you back to the right computer. And move my pip a little bit out of the way. So this is going to take a little while to complete. I'm going to let the video run all the way through. So this has been BIOS upgrade, which we could have done through memory stick, but that would have been more of a nuisance, really. Doing it through the Ethernet cable was quick and easy. Probably could have done it through Wi-Fi. Just by attaching to my Wi-Fi. I'm assuming that UEFI BIOS had the capability of connecting to Wi-Fi. I don't remember noticing that as we were going through that. So this is installing Windows 10. After that's installed, I intend to go to Windows Updates. And after that, the next step is to do cable management and put the case back together. So that's pretty simple for the rest of this. So installing features and installing updates, I think those both go kind of quickly. Restarting in a few seconds. I guess I could have clicked on that restart now button to not wait through that countdown timer. So that did the installation from the DVD. I should be able to eject the DVD now, and it's going to go through the rest of the setup. The DVD drive is still running away, and I think that's just because there's a DVD in there. I'm going to try ejecting it, and if I'm wrong, then we might get some adrenaline rush. And if I'm right, then we stop all that background noise. Yeah, it's still going all right. Well, that was a happy coincidence. I positioned that just right so you can see me eject it. Oh, this has DVD instructions on the back. What do you know about that? Well, that just tells about how to get it to boot from the DVD drive if it doesn't automatically do that for you. So here we've got another reboot going. Is that a reboot, or is that just going to another step in the installation? Yeah, that's a reboot. Spinning circle of dots under the Republic of Gamers logo. And now we've got a Windows background. United States, I'll click yes. Oh, I want to disconnect the Ethernet cable. Haha! I almost forgot to do that. Some of you know why I wanted to disconnect the Ethernet cable. I had the Ethernet cable connected for doing the BIOS update. I don't want to have the Ethernet cable connected while performing the initialization of Windows. And we'll get to a screen here shortly where I'll explain why. Second keyboard layout, I'll skip that. Let's connect you to a network. So now it's sensing that there's no connection to the internet. I don't want to connect it to the internet. If I do, then it's going to push me really aggressively to create a Microsoft account. I don't want this computer to have a Microsoft account. We're going to want this computer to have what's called a local account. So if you perform this part of the Windows 10 initialization without any internet connection, it's pretty easy to set up a local account. So down here in the bottom left corner it says, I don't have internet. The only way you're going to get this screen is if you're not currently connected to Ethernet. If you're connected to Ethernet, this screen won't even show up, and it's just going to go right into pushing for the creation or signing into an existing Microsoft account. So here's clicking on I don't have internet. Now, this is Microsoft trying to be more aggressive, trying to say, man, you really need to connect to the internet. You're going to miss out on all these features. So down here in the bottom left corner, I'm going to click continue with limited setup. I'm going to be a limited second-class citizen as far as Microsoft's concerned. Now here we go. Who's going to use this PC? What name do you want to use? And it wants us to put in a name. And I'm realizing right now that I did not check with Joseph to see what name he wants the computers to log in as. I don't know if he even cares. I don't know if they use passwords for these computers. How about the username of Pilot? I could put in Student Pilot. So it's going to, these are going to be, I think they're high school students, not certain, that are going to be using this flight simulator in public schools through the New Vision Aviation program. Actually, I think they have a different name for the school part of it. Sorry, Joseph, if I got that wrong. So student pilot would be very fitting. Calling them a pilot, it's a little bit overreach. Now, of course, we can create a new user account later if they have some other name they want to use. Oops, I got to interrupt. I'm going to put you on mute for a little bit. All right, so I'm going to have one more brief interruption in a couple minutes. So this name here will be Student Pilot. And click Next. And for password, I'm not going to put any password in. They will probably be using a password once this gets to the school. But for doing the Windows updates and whatever configuration I do, I don't want to do that. So then I'm going to click No and Basic and No and No and No and No and No. And I'm not going through conversation to describe or discuss those on this occasion. Click Accept. Activity history, nope, don't want to do that. And Cortana, not now or ever. Then we got some other messages for initializing Windows 10. Getting everything ready. Takes several minutes. Now this also should be faster than on some computers because it is an NVMe SSD. And that's going to operate faster than a SATA SSD or a spinning hard drive. What else we got to talk about while we're waiting for that? Shouldn't take very long, really. So I'm seeing 2 concurrent viewers. Both of those I think are me. If there's anyone there in the chat, go ahead and say hello if you're willing. But I think both of those are me, are my computers. All right, so here we got download Armory, Crate, and LAN driver. Would you like to download and install Armory Crate? Armory Crate is a service that can help you manage and download the latest ROG software updates. This motherboard comes preloaded with a LAN driver helping you quickly connect to the internet. Would you like to install the preloaded LAN driver and Armory Crate? If you cancel the download process, you can still visit the Microsoft Store to download the Armory Crate app. Okay, well, let's go yes with that. I haven't seen this before, and that's because I don't build custom computers normally. Let's see what we get. Oh, I gotta plug in the Ethernet cable. Trying to reconnect to the internet. I'm going to answer yes to allow the PC to be discoverable. Installing Armory Crate Aurora Creator. So I'm suspecting and assuming that this is going to take care of all of the drivers for this motherboard. Okay, I'm going to put on mute again. I'll be right back. All right, still going. When I scheduled this live session for today, I've been trying to schedule my sessions and then honor that date and time to try to pick up on some regular viewers. I neglected to realize that I had a service person coming to pick up a rental refrigerator. My refrigerator broke down a couple months ago, and I ordered a replacement. It was going to take a couple weeks, so I rented a refrigerator with a minimum of 2-month rental time. So I finally asked them to come pick it up, and that was scheduled for this afternoon. So that's interesting. The display adapter is trying to install. So here we've got a very low resolution. Everything's big on the screen. NVIDIA control panel just got installed. Check it out. So I'm not going to launch it just yet. It might automatically resize to a higher resolution. I've seen that before when a display adapter driver installs, that it will for a short period of time switch to a lower resolution until the driver gets completely installed. There's a restart required. I'm not going to initiate that while this graph is still going, unless it asks me to, but I suspect it'll automatically restart. Oh, you know something? Look at this. I'm not seeing the full window right now, and neither are you. We got a minimize button up here. So there might be some kind of prompt in the lower right corner. But the graph just went on further. Okay, I'm going to try moving this window. Okay, there we are seeing the bottom right corner. Oh, and there is no X in the upper right corner. So we were seeing the whole window. It's just, it doesn't have the traditional 3 buttons in the upper right corner. Then installing ARA Creator. Armory Create, AURA Creator. Armory Create Service. Armory Create Light Service. I have no idea what that means. I suspect it has to do with the motherboard software, the BIOS software, because that's the logo in the center of that screen. That's the logo for BIOS. So here we're seeing a BIOS screen. ASUS notice privacy policy. ASUS, I'm just looking there, Armory Crate. So there's that. That ties those terms into ASUS. And click I agree. End user EULA, ASUS grants. Okay, accept. Select the ARA Sync compatible devices to sync. Sync devices, ARA of Aura. Aura, that's when you have an aura around you. Is that the right, is that the spelling of that word, aura? Performance mode may optimize the smoothness of lighting effects, but may also increase CPU usage. Lighting effects, does that have something to do with the RGB that's on the motherboard? ROG Strix Z390i Gaming. That, I believe, is the model of the motherboard. Yeah, this motherboard's too tiny to be able to see any labeling. Addressable LED strip. Okay, so that's the RGB lighting I'm seeing on it, that it's addressable. Select the Aura Sync compatible devices to sync. So I'm kind of thinking maybe I want to take that off. Because there's this thing here about increasing the CPU usage. This LED strip is inside the computer. Nobody's going to be able to see it. Our Aura performance mode may optimize the smoothness of the lighting effects, but may also increase the CPU usage. Select the Aura Sync compatible devices to sync. I'm really feeling I want to remove both of those. Cannot unsync. The motherboard must be set as default Aura Sync device. All right. So I think that's sufficient. Scrolling down, Connect to Hue. Aura performance mode. Connect to Hue. Please ensure that the Hue bridge and your system are connected to the same network. Also check for updates in the Hue app to make sure your firmware version of Hue bridge is up to date. So I'm kind of suspecting this has to do with controlling other lighting devices on the network. I'm going to click search for devices, just see what it does. I certainly don't think it'll find anything. So it's looking for a Hue bridge. Makes total sense that would be some other kind of lighting device control. No devices available. Cancel. Now, getting out of here, we're still in Windows. This is just a window. I drag it down, okay? So we're done with Aura Sync. Maybe. What's in settings? Choose your Armory Crate landing page. So this is the Armory Crate program we're working in right now. Could have a different landing page, meaning when I open it, where does it automatically go to? I don't care. I came into here because I was thinking maybe there's something to prevent this from auto launching on startup that might reduce load on the computer. Let's see down here in system tray. Is there anything there? No. All right, so I'm just going to close it. That's fine, we're closed. All right, so Windows key. Update space settings. My favorite way to get to Windows Update. And then check for updates. Now while that's running, I'm going to go ahead and make some other adjustments. It's downloading various updates. I'm going to come down here to the notifications window and take a look at what's here. Restart required, that's already done, so I'm going to clear that. Searching for display driver, that's done, I'm going to clear that. NVIDIA control panel, I'm going to clear that. Then I'm going to come up to manage notifications, remove each of these check marks, and turn notifications off, because the place this computer is going to be going to run a flight simulator in schools, they don't need any notifications coming up. Now, I'm pretty sure Flight Simulator will override that when it's running anyway, but still my preference is just turn that off. Then I also like to configure to show all icons. So I right-clicked on the overflow menu button, that's this triangle pointed up or arrow pointed up. Right-click on that, taskbar settings, scroll down to, oops, where did I miss it? Oh, we're not activated yet. Still got to do that too. Notification, select which icons appear. So notice I can't even make a change to this option. And that's probably because Windows is not activated. And the Windows updates, I think, are going to have a little bit of trouble too. Now down here on the system tray, we've got a red dot. That's indicating that a restart needs to be done to complete the installation of updates. I'm going to close this window, go back into Windows Update, Update Settings. I just typed the word update. That was enough to get the search result, and it is still downloading. So it hasn't gotten far enough along that I'm ready to restart. I don't want to restart it just yet. Now, while we're here, let's go look at activation. Since I never need to do this, I never need to put in a product code. Here's activation right there. This one's installing right now, but I'm going to go ahead and click on activation. Windows reported that no product key was found on your device. Activate Windows Now. Troubleshoot. Go to the store. Change product key. That'll do it. That's a ticket. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 sequences of characters. So that's really tiny. I can barely make it out. I know some people will object to me allowing this code to be seen. However, my understanding is once this code is paired to this computer, there's nothing else anybody can do with it anyway. If somebody knows me to be wrong about that, I would love to hear about that. You could type that into the comments, or send me an email, DougBetts@LiveWindowsTraining.com. And if you guide me to something that I'm not aware of, I will acknowledge that. I'll probably make a video giving you credit for showing me something I did not know. PXW. I'm doing this slow because I'm talking at the same time. Something I'm not very good at, talking and thinking and doing all at the same time. E9MK4. There it is. Click Next. By activating Windows, you get the best experience, free from interruptions. Click Activate. This computer is louder than I expected it to be. It's not really loud, but it's fan noise that I'm hearing, and hearing some variations in the fan noise. Activated this copy, click Close, and then let's get back here to Windows Update and see if that other one finished. It's still installing. I could click Restart Now, and it would just continue this installation once it gets restarted. Now, when it gets restarted, there will be more updates to be installed. Oh, let's find out what we got. Windows key and the letter R, WinVER, WINVER for Windows version. It is 2004. Oh, well, sorry. It's 2004. 2004 is the wrong way to pronounce that. 2004 means it's from the year 2020 and the fourth month, so that's April. So that is the first half of the year. And if I had thought of the number 2004, I would have remembered that, yeah, that's what we called it. In the second half of the year, they switched to the version numbering, format of 20H2. And now we're in 21, so it's going to be 21H1 when that comes out. I don't think that's been forced on any of my computers yet. I think it's available for seekers, but I am not a seeker. I like to let other people be the guinea pigs. Let them get all the bugs worked out. So I'm checking down one of my other computers. 20H2. I'll show you this. So here's 20H2. So that's the second half. I've never really heard for sure, but I'm assuming the H refers to half. 20, half 2, half 1, half 2. I don't think I've ever heard anyone actually pronounce that that's what the H means. And that computer that I just showed you is currently on what version? It's on 2004. Yeah, and this is actually installing, well, we're at 2004. Is it going to update to 20H2? Oh, down here. It's available. Feature update to Windows 10 version 20H2. The next version is available with new features. Download and install. So that's for seekers. So this, look, this is March of 2021. 20H2 was really expected to be stable and pushed out to the general population. I think. I'm not an expert in that arena. But it just seems odd to me that, almost 6 months after 20H2 was supposed to have come out, it's available optionally. And I don't think it became available in September of 2020. I think it got significantly delayed. So how are we doing here? We're still installing. Now this one that's installing is a 2021 February. That's what the O2 means. February cumulative update for Windows 10 2004 for x64 based systems. So the cumulative update for a particular month is typically a longer install than all those. We saw a whole bunch of little updates that were all pretty quick. So pending restart. Here we go. Clicking on restart now. What happens if I show you this camera? Yeah, there's the screen I'm looking at. And so it's working on updates. The version of the screen you're looking at is actually on my streaming computer. So occasionally I look over that way to my streaming computer to see what it's showing. But this one shows me the full screen view of the subject computer. So nobody has shown up in chat, and it still says 2 concurrent viewers. So I really think that's just me. My last few videos, there were a few people that showed up while I was live streaming, which is kind of a new fun thing for me. Hopefully my channel will grow and we'll have more of that. And most of what I intend to be doing, okay, here we go. So see, it's dark here and you're seeing something before I do. I have to push this button on my monitor. There, I'm with you again. Yeah, so most of what I expect to be doing, want to be doing on my channel is providing live real-time computer support to people through Zoom and through remote connection to their computers. In order to put out a significant quantity of those, I have to have people asking for free support, and that's not happening. It's just not happening. Very slow going. I shouldn't say not happening. There's maybe 8 or 9 people that have been on live sessions with me, and you can go look at those videos. Anytime you see a thumbnail that has me and somebody else in the thumbnail, that means I was providing support to somebody during that video. And so far, all of those have been people that know me in real life or have been referred to me by people who know me in real life here in Fresno, California. I have yet to have anybody who sees one of my videos on YouTube send an email to me and ask for support. So who's going to be first? I do have a video in my list of videos that shows the reasons why you can trust me to to connect remotely to your computer. And it's basically showing you who I am. I'm long time in this community and long time in my business of providing full-time computer support to my clients. So here we are restarted. So I'm going to hit Windows key, update, settings. I didn't need to type all that, right? I'm going to hit the escape key and do Windows key. If I just type the letter U, that's enough to get it. So U and enter gets me back into the update settings screen. So now this said, it's lying to us right now, okay? This is not true. It says you're up to date. Last check today, 2:46 p.m. That time is right. That's when we last checked. But we're not up to date. I have yet to see one round of updates be enough. So let's go check for updates and see if there are more updates. My money says yes, there are more updates. Boom, there we go. Now it's just 2 Windows Defender antivirus. That's pretty minor. Chances are after this update we won't have any more, and it's probably not going to require a restart. So once this finishes installing, I'll click once more because I want to click this check for updates right here and have it find no more updates. And I'm suspecting there won't be any more, because that's just the pattern. After Windows Defender updates, there we go. There's no other updates. Outstanding. So that is the Windows, the BIOS update, installing Windows, the Windows updates. The last thing I have to do is cable management. And how far is, oh, this has been a little over an hour. I'm kind of, I could do the cable management and reassemble the computer now or in a session tomorrow morning. What's it gonna be? It's 3 o'clock. Let's do it. Let's do it. I'm gonna go ahead and do it now. I have not really set up my environment for that. I don't have clippers. Okay, I'm going to try this without that. So what I'm going to do is shut the computer down. I guess I should be showing that to you, right? So just shut down. Not that that was anything stunning. And I think I'll move it over to here. Unplug all the cables. Now, this whole idea of cable management, that's a new thing to me. And that's something that I'm aware of by virtue of watching Kerry Holzman's channel. That's mostly what he does, is build custom computers. Let's see, I'm looking for a Spudger. And anyway, with the way custom computers are these days, cable management makes a whole lot of sense. Back when I was building clone computers for business offices, we didn't bother with that. Cabling was just very simple. All right, that's completely free. Now, what happens on this camera? Let's try down a little bit there. So here's the power cable that I was using for that DVD drive. I can remove that from the power supply. It's a modular power supply, so we don't need that cable in the box at all. So cable management is basically tying up these cables so that they don't have all this excess flapping around. Now these two here, I'm a little unsure how I want to handle those. That's the connectors for the reset switch and the hard drive LED. This computer doesn't have a reset switch on the case. It just has a power switch, and it uses an NVMe solid state drive built onto the motherboard, so that's not going to be plugged into anything. I never did look at what lights show up. There's a light here which is probably an indication of drive activity. Oh, look at this. Here's a power cable. So let's see if there's a light there. It's a power light. Doesn't seem to be doing any activity related to SSD being accessed. I don't see any other lights. So this pigtail adapter came with, did it come with the motherboard or with the case? I'm not sure. I'd be guessing it came with the motherboard because the case doesn't have a reset switch. Why would they give us a pigtail for a reset switch when it doesn't have one? So I'm contemplating I could just cut these wires. If I don't do that, then I could somehow prevent these from getting shorted, because a reset switch, if that gets shorted between those two pins, that's going to restart the computer. If I let it be loose around in the case, those pins could short, and I think that'll restart the computer. All right, how about a little adrenaline rush here? If I touch those against the metal of the case, I should be able to see the case, the computer restart, right? No. Is the case conductive? I don't know. The screwdriver will be conductive. Oh, it rebooted. I'm right. Yep, it's rebooting. I don't know if you were able to hear that, but I could tell by the sound that it was rebooting. Yeah, I just don't see any reason to care about those wires at all, so I'm going to cut them. Yes, I'm going to shut the computer off and disconnect the power before I cut them. Judging by the sound, it sounds like it is completely rebooted. So right now it should be actually in Windows because there's no password. So now a single press of the power button, just press and release of the power button, should shut it down. I can tell by the sound that it responded to the power button, and yes, it shut down. The fans have stopped. Unplug the power. The LED lights are still visible for a few seconds, and then they went off. That would just be because of the capacitors in the power supply that retain power for a little while. All right. I'm just questioning, is it important to go to the point of actually taping that? I don't think so. I guess theoretically, the ends of the wires could touch against each other. Oh, I know how to do it. So I'm going to cut it so that I'm leaving a little bit of length on the wires so that I can wrap the ends of those wires so they can't possibly short against each other. The other way I could do it is tape them separated from each other. I'm probably overthinking this. See, if I knew that I was going to do this, I would have prepared something for it. So here's these zip ties. As long as we keep the ends of those wires away from shorting against each other or shorting against any metal. Huh. Now, another way I could have dealt with this is just not use this pigtail at all. Wow, you know what? Because I could just plug these straight onto the motherboard and get rid of this pigtail. I don't need the pigtail. Isn't that a cleaner way to do it? Yeah, it is. Because all we're connecting is the power LED and the power switch. And I already found out where those go, and I can tell just by looking at the wires where they go. Okay, this is fun. Let me see what I can show here. I like this. I like this idea. Provides a cleaner installation. I want to show you my thinking. Now I could look at the motherboard manual to figure out which pins are which. I'm going to turn off that autofocus so it stops freaking out. And try a little manual focus, see if I need to. There, that looks good. Good as it's gonna get. Okay, so I know the power switch is yellow and orange. Do you see the yellow and orange right there? Yellow and orange is these two right here. So those are the two pins that I'm going to put the power switch connector on. The power LED is red and black, and the red and black. All right, I'm going to have to get more serious with the vision. these guys. So I need the red and black. Oh, well, that's simple. So they're in alignment. The red is the farthest to your right, and then is black. Okay, so that'll be plus on the end, and then orange and yellow, and the orange and yellow is for the power switch, which is not polar, it doesn't have a plus and minus, because all it does is it shorts those two together. A power switch and a reset switch do the same thing. They just short the leads to each other, so there is no positive or negative. Okay, so pull that out. I have no idea what view I'm giving you right now. I have a box, a whole bunch of different choices of tweezers upstairs. That's an unfortunate place for them to be right now. Got it? Got it. All right, what are you able to see, huh? Yeah, there's those 4 wires right there. And I even managed to get them with the lettering visible. So, bye-bye pigtail. So the rest of that wire comes out this direction. And I see this, how these 2 wires cross each other. Well, one of them has to go on the inside and one has to go on the outside. I was kind of feeling like I do prefer that this one be this is a very, very nitpicky thing. I'd like this black one to be on the outside of those colored ones, just because it feels like that wire will bend over more nicely this way. Oh, this is a different wire. This is a case fan. It's not those wires that I just connected to the motherboard. I'm going to put that let's see. That's pretty good right in there. Okay, I'm going to connect that with a zip tie to the power cable right here. If that was some kind of a sensitive signal cable, I probably wouldn't want to zip tie it to a power cable, but it's really, all that wire does is provides power to the case fans, or case fan, there's only one of them. And then cut that zip tie. All right, that's good. Now let's look at this cable here. It can lay down and go through this way. I could zip tie that right around this power cable here to hold it down. Oh, I see 3 concurrent viewers now. 2 of those are me. One of those is somebody else. If you're willing to make your presence known, please go ahead and say hello in the chat field. I really don't know if this is overkill or not with cable management. I'm just experiencing this for the first time. Again, because I don't normally build custom computers. Nor don't normally build them. I never build them. I built clone computers when I began my business back in 92 through 95, then stopped building clone computers. Can't call those custom computers. All right, what else? Oh, this guy here. Okay, that's USB connections. These are kind of a flat cable. So I'm going to try to route them in respect to each other so that they can stay flat and that their order is kind of determined mostly by the connector on the motherboard. And over here where they connect to the case, they can be a little more free and loose. You know what I'm going to do is I'm going to pull them through here and secure the excess on this side to reduce the amount of wire traffic that there is right by the power supply. That feels pretty good right there. I don't know if you can make out what I'm doing. I'm going to wire zip tie them right against that metal frame there. Okay, I like that well enough. Here's the power connection for the graphics adapter. And it runs straight through that opening to the power supply. So I could coil it up here above the fan, but I don't like that a whole bunch. What if I were to bring it back this way and have the excess in this area? Is that doable? That's an exhaust for the graphics adapter, air. Oh, I think I'm going to tie off to the power cable again. This connects to the graphics adapter, and I held myself off from this choice a little bit, thinking I don't really want to strap anything that's a signal cable next to a power cable, but this cable attaching to the graphics adapter is not a signal cable. It is power. It's only power. So I think that's okay. All right, so I just did a zip tie right there, strapping the graphics power cable to the power cable where it connects from the case and runs up to the power supply. I think I'll accept that. What else? So those are done. This guy right here, what do I want to do with it? And when the top goes on the case, it's just going to push down on that. There isn't enough excess for that to go anywhere. I'm liking just tying this off to this piece of case frame right here. Yeah, I think that's worthwhile. Okay, it's that one right there. That just keeps us in a nice stable position. Cut off the tail. Well, I think that's all we need for cable management. Another thing I want to do is the CPU socket cover. I'd ideally like to keep it inside the case because I have no idea who might service this computer in the future. It's possible that it could get outside of my influence, so I'm thinking of just like tying it off to a piece of the case right here. With a zip tie. How about that? It's my last zip tie. Except there's a whole other package of them that came with the computer. And that one's not long enough to do the job, is it? The other package is the same length. Is there a way for me to route that so it will work? Is there a better place to put it? Not really. I kind of like that spot. All right, I can live with that. There you can see it. So now I see 4 concurrent viewers. Know that 2 of those are me, indicating there's a couple other people. If you're willing to identify yourself, go ahead and say hi in the chat. Getting kind of close to the end here. The earlier part of this video, it started with doing the BIOS update, then installing Windows from a DVD, and doing Windows updates, and then just finished cable management. So now put the case back together, and this case is kind of unusual. This is the bottom of the case. This is one of the vent covers. This is the top of the case. And I think the other vent cover is probably on the bottom. Let's have a look. Yeah, there it is. This one right here. So it's magnetic. And this vent cover magnetic. Whoops, I got a wire hanging out. Alright, that'll live there fine. So this vent cover goes on here. Now the thing that's really strange about this design Well, that's interesting. Those fan screws, kind of the heads of the fan screws are making this vent or filter stick out a little bit. Let's see if I can tighten that up. Now that's all. That's completely seated. Well, looks to me that's going to be okay. See, the reason why this is weird is because in order to clean those filters, you have to take the top off the case and take the bottom off the case. Just kind of a pain in the butt. All right, so next piece is to put the bottom on, and it is unidirectional, meaning it has to be put on in a certain way, and it goes the front ports go in first. And they're right here. And when putting it in, I got to be sure those filter screens stay properly seated. The USB ports go through the openings in the bottom of the case. And then it snaps into place with these tabs. Okay, I can see the tabs. I think that's clicked into place. No, it's not. The left side is clipped into place, but this side's not. There it goes. Yep. Yep. All those snaps are good. Then the top. Which way does this go? There we go. So there's a label on the front of the computer. The back of the computer is where all the cables connect. And we got 4 screws. All right, good. So after doing all of that, we should go check and see if it still works. Oh, wow. What the old wow was about is I realized that when I set it down on the tabletop, it's these screws that are hitting the tabletop, and there are some pads, which apparently I don't have them here with me, so I'm not going to do that. I'll do that off camera. But then I'll also point out this came with a Wi-Fi antenna. So it's a Wi-Fi antenna. It's got a couple of connectors, and it's got this stand. Which way did that go? Oh, gotta run the wire through there, I guess. So anyway, close enough. It sits in a stand, and then these antenna leads connect back here on the back of the computer. So I'll do that off camera also. Reconnect keyboard and mouse. Power. And video. Power on. I'm not hearing any power. I'm not hearing any fans. Okay. No power whatsoever. Now that I've got the case cover on, there's this panel here over where that power button is. That click makes me think that it's working. I did fuss with the power cable when I was strapping things to it. So I'm wondering if I pulled that out somewhere along the line. So this isn't happy. Open it up again. See what I did wrong. I have to prefer not to take these screws out of those holes because this case pops off a whole lot easier if those screws are in the holes. If the screws are not in the holes, it's difficult to get the case lid off. When I set the case down with those screws just partially in, it just pops off pretty easily, except that apparently I put one of them back in too far. Yes, I did. All right, power cable over here. Let's see, what can I show you that? Yeah. Power cable here where it plugs into the power supply. Looked okay, but it did kind of push in a little bit. All right, then that wire wraps around up to there, and that doesn't push in. That's just mounted on the back of the case. So now I'll grab that same power. Yep, there's the RGB lights. That's what it was, is this just wiggled out just enough. And when I looked at it, it looked to be plugged in. Now let's try the power button, because you know when I tried to turn it on, I couldn't see those lights. They were covered. So I'm still haven't proven anything. But I think there's a little plastic panel here that should light up. Yep. So I don't have a monitor connected right now. So I'm going to give it a few seconds to let it get booted up into Windows. Then I'll press the power button to shut it down again. And then re-close up the case. And then try starting it again. Okay, that's all sounding pretty stable. Now, the power supply fan is not turning. And my suspicion is that it will, when the computer warms up a bit, that it'll turn. I'm going to shut it down and then start it up again. There, it shut down. When I first turn the power on, this does spin, or at least it did before. Yeah, there it's spinning, and then it stops. So I'm guessing that is a normal operation. It was interesting that I can put the top on while the computer is plugged in. Okay, so now I'm going to shut it down again. There's down. Unplug the power. Oh my gosh, I just discovered my I don't know, my microphone was on mute. Maybe that's when that happened when the Stream Deck fell over. I hope I didn't have it on mute all this time. I'm seeing 4 viewers. 2 of those viewers are me. If somebody's there that knows that I did have it on mute, you could let me know in the chat window. Or just say hi if you have a mind to. If not, that's okay too. We're almost done with this live stream. I just want to see the computer. Come on. While the stream is running. Wow, I really scratched up my desk. Okay, so there's power. Let's see, my video's over here. Will that reach? Should have had that lazy Susan under the computer all along. Let's let you see the power button. There it comes on. It didn't do that last time. Griffin, hi there. You were only mute for a short time. Oh, thank you. I did a live stream providing computer support to a person that I know. We spent almost 2 hours, and afterward I discovered I was on mute most the whole time, and it was a really good session. Just made me sick to lose that one. All right, so hey, I think we're done here. The main focus of my new YouTube channel is not to build computers. This is a very rare thing for me, but rather to provide free computer support to people through Zoom and through YouTube live streams. And if anyone, you or anyone you know is interested in getting free computer support, the way to do that is send an email to DougBetts@LiveWindowsTraining.com. Give me an idea in the body of the email what you'd like help with, and we'll put it together. Oh, I probably should have said this before. Credit, acknowledgements, Carrie Holzman and Mike Smith, because of their inspiration to me for being able to do real computer tech stuff over YouTube without having to do a bunch of fancy editing and stuff. I know how to do that stuff. I've done it before and I don't want to. Then also Catherine, I hope I say her name right, Catherine Anna Hauserman. I hope I'm saying her name right. From Carrie Holzman's channel, she gave me invaluable help for this, because when I first started out building this computer back in January, I discovered that I had the wrong graphics adapter. I was actually given a list of components to order that had been, as I understood, used before for these flight simulator computers. And so I just ordered it based upon what they told me, and it turned out that the graphics card was 3 expansion ports wide. This case is only 2 expansion ports wide. It was the case and graphics card that they specified. So anyway, Catherine Anna Hauserman helped me find a graphics card that would work. She spent a lot of time on it. She is from Carrie Holzman's channel. I had no other connections with her except for becoming aware of her and her willingness to help people select the parts for their custom computer builds. So I'm deeply grateful to her assistance for that. Okay, so you know where to send the email to if you want help. I hope this video has been of use to you. Catch you later.